Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's so good to see you all. You're very welcome to our 4-week webinar series of mindfulness. So my name is Shannon McGowan, for anybody that doesn't know, and I am the Programme Executive at Business in the Community in Northern Ireland. So I work under a programme called Rethink. And some of you may have heard about Rethink before. Maybe you've seen some of our webinars, or maybe you've participated in some of our workshops, or we actually had an annual campaign back in February, March time. So there was a lot of things out in the radio and billboards and things like that. So hopefully maybe you have come across it before. But anybody that hasn't, it's an initiative that was created in order to help build resilience and just spread awareness around how we can strengthen our health, our lifestyles, and make healthier choices. So as I say, we do a range of different workshops, but today and over the next 4 weeks, it's dedicated to mindfulness. Because as Anne will tell you throughout the next 4 weeks, there are so many benefits to mindfulness. And it's a lovely practice once you get into it. It's not very difficult. A lot of people, would find it difficult at the beginning, but once you work at it, it really does become so beneficial and not so difficult anymore. And you can practice mindfulness basically anywhere, in your car, when you're eating, even in a conflictual situation. Anne has supported me with that one. If you're in a conflict with someone, it's really that idea of coming back to the breath and coming back to the present moment and really asking yourself how you want to react. So mindfulness really is just a lovely, lovely, magical practice. For you mentally, socially, physically, it's great. So I know we only have the hour this morning, so I'm not going to take up much more of your time. I just want to say that if you do have any questions or concerns, just jot them into the comment box and I can flag that up with Anne then at question time. We do have a couple of minutes at the very end where you can come off mute and you can just discuss how you find the practice. Maybe if something is, you need more support with, there's that opportunity that we can have a discussion with Anne. But other than that, I just hope you really take this hour to yourself, enjoy it, and use it as a time for replenishment, because that's what it's for. So I hope you really enjoy it, and I will introduce you now to Anne Costello.
Oh, thank you so much, Shannon. And thank you for the opportunity to come back again and to do some work with you. And it really is fabulous. And you were such a great advocate. To hear you speaking about mindfulness is wonderful. So hello, everybody. And I'm delighted that you joined me this morning. We're going to do, this workshop is going to be an introduction to mindfulness for people who have not experienced mindfulness before. And our goal is over the next 4 weeks to look at resilience and mental toughness, and how we can deal with stress and what habits get us into trouble, and how we can navigate our lives so that we're happier and less stressed out. So I've been practicing mindfulness, teaching it since 2012 when I trained in the States at the Center for Mindfulness in Massachusetts. I'm a nurse by profession. What I like about mindfulness is it's practical. I have practical tools I can work at when I'm on the run at home, and I'm a mother of 4 boys. So it's helped me get over and get through lots of problems and anxieties in my life, so that at this point I feel like I have some skills, but we're always learning. I'm delighted to be able to share them with you today. So as Shannon said, I'll do some talking about mindfulness here, and we'll look at some PowerPoints just so that you have something to take home with you. And we'll do some practices. And then at the end, we'll leave about 10 minutes if you have any questions for me that you want to ask. So it's just me, where I trained in Boston, although I live in Belfast now. And we all know what the pandemic has done to our mental health in the line of stress, exhaustion, feeling burnt out, and depression for many people. So it's a real serious issue, especially for people returning to work, where there's, again, so much uncertainty. So I'm delighted to be able to give this support, and hopefully you'll be able to take some tips from today. We're going to look at what mindfulness is and how does mindfulness help us with stress, and then how to practice. So let's take a look. So mindfulness is about being in the present moment. And that is very difficult for us to be in the present moment, because we have so many thoughts going around in our head. We have so many worries. We actually have 60 to 80,000 thoughts every day. Now, some of those thoughts and memories lose at nighttime, and we gain more than the next day. And that's how it goes. And oftentimes, we're not even in the present moment. So mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment. Who do you think has the nicest walk on this little trip today? Who do you think is having the nicest wee walk and wee time? So it's not our faults in many ways that our brain is in such a way that we tend to catastrophize and to worry about things. So if you could imagine that 47% of the time, we are not in the present moment. Studies tell us that we're not. So have you ever driven anywhere and wondered how you got there? Or were you ever in the shower, but you're not really in the shower? Or have you found yourself eating on the run, or not actually sitting at the table and eating? And it goes on. We live on autopilot. So a lot of the time we are rushing in the to-do world of doing, trying to manage an awful lot of things, taking an awful lot on our shoulders, and we find at nighttime we're pretty exhausted. And this is what happens. We start off the day like a boxer in a ring, all sorts of energy, and by the time we're finished, we're really done in. And I do a lot of sleep workshops because people don't get a chance to actually stop during the day, and they get really exhausted, and then they worry and think during the night, and that affects their sleep. So this is about paying attention to the moment we're in. So what are the values of paying attention to the moment we're in? We can really deal with what's happening in our lives when we're in the moment. So whatever challenges and difficulties we have, they are fixable in the moment we're in, as long as we're breathing and as long as we're alive. So we get a chance when we stop in mindfulness to actually take a chance to look at the challenges that we are facing. And maybe we can learn from these challenges. Maybe we can stop and take the time to see, how can we approach a challenge better? How can we learn from that and maybe transform how we take on our challenges? So often the first automatic is to stress out. But in actual fact, if we take time to reflect, we can find other different ways of meeting our challenges and difficulties. So it gives us that opportunity to explore what's going on. And, we also, it's important to know that we take information in through the brain, but also through our senses. And we're like antennas, like the mast that's out there taking in information on telephone, from your telephone and from everything else. Our bodies take in information. We feel in our bodies hurt. We feel disappointment. We feel rejection. We feel happiness. We feel our whole array of emotions. And it's very important to actually take the time to absorb and to sit, to be with the emotions as they arise. And this helps us actually deal with the situation as it occurs. And it's a wonderful balm for dealing with difficult problems, because then we're able to, as we listen to what our bodies say, we can make wiser choices. So today we're going to be looking at how we can use mindfulness in this way. This is a quote from Bill George, professor at Harvard Business School. Mindfulness helps us clear away the trivia and needless worries about unimportant things. Did you ever find yourself caught up worrying about the little things, all the unimportant things, and we don't get a chance to see the wider perspective, to be able to stand back. So this is a wonderful tool to be able to just take a step back and step over the needless worrying that we do and the way we get ourselves caught up in knots about small things. So let's look at some of the benefits of mindfulness. It's mind training. So we train our mind to help us focus and concentrate in the present moment. This helps us when it comes to distractions and the trivia that I was talking about. We can recognize the thoughts coming in and then recognize the fact that we don't need to deal with them right now. So we don't go into that rabbit hole and come back to train and strengthen our minds like you would train your physical muscle. It's the same way that we do this with our minds. So that helps when whatever your occupation is, if you're a teacher, if you are an accountant, if you're a nurse, whatever your occupation is, training your mind to be in the moment and focus on what the job is at hand is a terrific skill. So mindfulness is a life skill because we use this training of awareness of what's happening right now all through our lives. So you take this with you no matter where you are. You can assess, step back, monitor a situation, choose whether you'll respond or not. And this can be transferred to everything in your life. So your life is your teacher. So this awareness of the present moment gives you more insights as to what's happening at this moment right now, this time. And this helps us deal with challenges in a calmer way, with a wider perspective. So if we're dealing with something when we're excited and angry and upset, usually the result isn't good. Did you ever find you're about to send an email when you're upset and you think, oh my goodness, that's not a good idea. So when we're aware and mindful of what's actually happening at a deeper level, we can choose to step back and maybe take a cup of tea or take a walk around and really think, is that a wise decision to send that email right now? So it helps us deal with whatever the challenge would be. It could be in a conversation. It doesn't always have to be an email. It could be as simple as getting upset in the kitchen if your children have made a mess. But whatever the challenge is, it helps you to see it more clearly, to handle it in a calm state, and to make a wiser choice. So why practice? These are all the reasons now from a medical point of view why we should practice mindfulness. And it's very important to recognize that this is evidence-based and it will help us deal with stress. So Bill George, a professor at Harvard Business School in recent years, has said that medical studies have found evidence of meditation having many benefits, including protecting against health problems such as high blood pressure and arthritis. So if we could just focus on high blood pressure, how many people do we know that have had strokes or heart attacks or have even died from stress and from worry? High blood pressure is one of those big killers, and it is something that is directly related to stress and anxiety, overworking, catastrophizing, and not stopping to step back and to, I suppose, to be more careful with how we deal with our lives. So mindfulness helps reducing stress, improving attention and sensory processing, and physically altering parts of the brain associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation. So I suppose this is the most exciting part, is that we can actually change part of the brain, the part of the brain that deals with anxiety. That shrinks when we practice our mindfulness. So even 10 to 15 minutes a day of doing your meditation in the morning and then taking pauses through your day can actually change part of the brain. So you'll be able to learn more, you'll be able to increase your memory, and then regulate your emotions. And then for perspective taking, critical cognitive skills for leaders attempting to maintain their equilibrium under constant pressure. I have a lot of sympathy for people in management roles because there is so much stress out there, and oftentimes it's really difficult to deal with personalities and achieve all that you have to achieve. So practicing staying calm and staying focused, and coming from a place where you see the problems of other people as well as yours, where you can develop empathy and compassion, is a really wonderful thing for being an effective leader. All right. So let's talk about dipping into the well but never replenishing our supplies. This is what we do a lot of the time without even realizing it. Just think about over COVID, how much you've taken on, how much more stressful it has been for many people, working from home, homeschooling, having no space, all the things that have happened during COVID. And there has definitely been a buildup of stress and anxiety. And it's time now to replenish our supplies as things sort of come back to normal. And I would hope that you would make this practice something that you will do every day. And we're going to go through it now. And I want to just written it up for you here. So this is something you can take home with you. So I'd invite you now to come into a comfortable position, just sitting comfortably on your chair. And I'll take you through a short practice. So just sitting upright, but not uptight. And noticing your feet on the floor. So we're grounding our body through our feet, noticing your feet on the floor. And noticing your body on the chair. And then checking in with different parts of your body, shoulders, the neck, the tummy. And as you sit here now, just notice the fact that you're breathing. Become aware of your in-breath and your out-breath. Aware that you are breathing in and you are breathing out. If you close your eyes, it will make a big difference if that's comfortable with you. Just to take away distractions. Notice that you are breathing in and you are breathing out. If you place your hands on your tummy now, you can notice how the tummy inflates, like as if there's a balloon inside just as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, it relaxes back. And just continue to notice the tummy, breathing in and breathing out. So this is a moment of non-doing. We're not striving for anything. We're stepping out of the busyness of your daily life and just dropping into the body. Aware that you are breathing in and you are breathing out. Taking another in breath and another out breath. It's going to leave you for 1 minute, 60 seconds to practice that on your own. Just listening to the body, aware of the breath in the body. And notice if you're distracted, if your mind won't settle. And this is so normal, just to know that this is what happens all the time. This is the busy mind that wants to come in and clamp down. So when you notice that you've been distracted, that is awareness, and then you're back to the breath again. And then just slowly open your eyes. So for beginners or others that have done mindfulness before, just let me know how that was for you. Just a few minutes there. How did that go? Anybody want to let me know?
It was really good, Anne. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Who is that? Anne O'Neill?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was that your first time, Anne?
No, I have done it before, but there's a bit of noise outside my door, so I was kind of fighting with trying to keep it away out of my head, if you know what I mean, trying to focus.
Yeah. So just want to clarify one thing, that it's not about getting rid of thoughts. It's not at all about getting rid of thoughts. It's being with things just as they are, as in, sad thoughts, anxious thoughts, upsetting thoughts, whatever they are. They're already here in your body, if you know what I mean, and in your mind. So it's a tip, dropping in to see what's here, but at the same time, not going down the rabbit hole of getting worried. So John Kabat-Zinn says that our mind and our thoughts, we should have a restraining order on our thoughts, because they can take us to places that are not advisable. to really worrying and getting upset about other people a lot of the time. So this pausing briefly gives us a chance to just come back from those thoughts. So it's a little disconnect a little bit, but then more come in. And after a while, we get better at recognizing thoughts for what they are, which is a thought. It's not a reality. I'm not going to have a job. This is going to be desperate. Will we ever get over this? Here's the Indian COVID virus coming in. These are all thoughts, and they can lead to a lot of the stress that we are experiencing. So the hope would be that half our life that we're thinking about other things and not in the moment, that we begin to regain some of that, and that we would replace that with just a sense of, okay, this is the moment I can deal with because this is what I'm in right now. And there's a lot of the situation I can deal with. That's my own stuff. And then there's other things, there's other people's stuff. But for right now, in this moment, as it's all I have, let me see how I can deal with the moment I'm in. And words like empathy and compassion for yourself, especially now after COVID, any high expectations of, being super energized as we get back. A lot of people are exhausted and tired and worn out, and that's a fact of life. I see it all the time. I did 29 sleep workshops in the month of March, plus loads of mindfulness because people are exhausted. So it's good to step back and say, what do I need now, today? What will get me through this day? And it's not being selfish, it's being responsible. So that when you can take care of your needs, you're much more available to other people. But if we're running around doing everything for everybody else and we don't take care of ourselves, then that becomes a problem because we get exhausted and cranky. Did you ever get exhausted and cranky? And then we shout and blame others, and then we'll say we're sorry and we'll just start all over again. So it would be nice to know that, especially as you start your day, that you have a routine where you can just stop and reflect on how you're doing, how you're feeling, what you want from the day. There's no problem in anticipating what might be down the line for you. But if you're in a good mental state, you're more likely to be in a good physical state. You're more likely to eat better, the right foods, and everything and sleep better. Everything falls into play. Any other questions about the breath, about how it went for you?
Better to breathe out through your nose as well as breathing in through your nose.
Well, you know what? It's as long as you're breathing, that's all that matters. In actual fact, it doesn't really matter, just the fact that you're breathing, but in through the nose goes right into your lungs. And then back out through the nose comes right out of your lungs. But not everybody can do that. If you have deviated septums or a septum, you mightn't find that nice. So whatever works. If you want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, do that as well. It's more or less the intention to stop the doing, the going. Like mindfulness, when you're gardening, for example, that is a beautiful, mindful thing to do. When you're baking, when you're preparing food, it's not just about the breath. There's mindfulness meditation, and then there's how to live your life mindfully. And how you live your life mindfully is with respect and care for you as a person and for others. So, and that would mean, as you care for yourself, then the food you cook, just working in the kitchen, chopping, vegetables, and being in that moment. And if you're having a conversation with somebody, it's how are you in this conversation? Do you want to get it over and done with as quick as possible? Or do you have a chance to pause and really notice the person you're talking to, listen to them. Don't we all love to be listened to? So that is part of paying attention to the moment we're in. It's never ending. Paying attention when you're in the shower to yourself, when you're dressing yourself, when you're downstairs. Paying attention. Next week we'll do mindful eating, just when you're having your food, and then when you meet people, how do we dress them? With kindness, with giving them our attention. So that is the opposite to autopilot when we're rushing by everybody. No, I can't talk. I'm on the phone. I've got a minute. Do you ever find yourself doing that? Just got a second. For people that you don't really, we like people, other people we feel neutral about, and others we dislike. And that's a mindset that we can change. It doesn't have to be that way. Did you ever notice that there was somebody you didn't like, and then maybe you met them in a certain environment, then you met them out socially and you found they were great, and then you thought, wow, I all the time thought I didn't like that person. That was a quick and early judgment on something, or it may have some words that passed. But there's growth from mindfulness where you can actually say, that's a judging mind, and maybe I should think about giving that person a chance. So mindfulness is awareness of the present moment without judgment. And then guess who else we're great at judging besides sometimes other people? Sorry, Norma.
Ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, ourselves.
Ourselves. Oh my God. Shocking. The amount.
That's who we judge most.
Yeah. Isn't it just? It's such a shame.
Can I just ask a question, Anne? I mean, you talked there about mindful meditation, and I do meditate regularly. But then you talked about being mindful in your daily life. And what I find is that I can get to the end of the day and realize how stressed out I've been about something that happened maybe early in the day, and it stayed with me the whole day. How do you actually catch yourself on, when you're in the stress, to say, right, stop this and, deal with it differently?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. Brilliant. So, and it's the way it is for so many of us, And you know what? There's so many, Norma, I've noticed some people in my life, they can get over it just like that. But for others, it burns deeply. And there are two ways of looking at it. One is that as it burns deeply, we can't get over it just like that. I always found that if I go into nature, if I take myself for a quick walk, or if I do something like something that's not a task, not going shopping or anything like that, but I suppose or gardening or something I like, that I find it really soothing then. And then it opens me up to the bigger perspective. And what I've learned through mindfulness is, can I be compassionate for the person who said something or did something? I may have the skills now to see, can I see things from their side, from their point of view? Could they have said something that was hurtful but didn't really mean it? Or maybe they were in a rush. So can I open up a way to look at things in a deeper, how I perceived the hurt? Was that really what was meant? Can I learn from this moment? Do I have the confidence to maybe phone them about it the next day? Or I have a choice. Will I keep this or will I let it go? And that's one of the big principles of mindfulness is, can we let some things, well, not go, but can I let it be? Some things we can't let go of. We're really hurt about them. But could we just let it be and realize that, let me just let it be. And then that thought will go away and it might enter back into my head for 6 months. So if I could let it be and maybe grow from the actual situation that happened. And I find soothing and comforting words like, it's okay, you're hurt, that's okay, that's normal. Just breathe and just let that go as well. But, have some compassion. And another thing, what I do is I imagine that somebody I love is with me. And what would they say at this point? What would they say? They give me wise advice, and it might be, yeah, it was painful. If it can't be addressed, see, can I let it go? If it can be addressed, then I'll address it, but then I'll move on. And the more we practice, that's the mental muscle, the better we get at not being so hurt, at recovering faster from disappointments and upsets, and taking a lighter view sometimes to the things that we perceive as really hurtful, taking a lighter view on them. And then doing something good, doing something nourishing, whatever it would be for you to do. It might be a bath and an early night in bed, or might be, take yourself somewhere now that things are opening up. So just see, what is it I can do for self-care here? And recognize the fact that person may not have meant the hurt, and recognize that you have the skills to deal with what has come down the line to you. You have the skills to do it. Was that helpful? Thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? We're going to go back and I'm going to show you, that was your tummy breathing. Now I want to show you more of a body scan way of dealing with stress. So this time we're going to be addressing the body more. And we're going to be going through different parts of the body that I want to help you recognize if there's any tension. And just breathe into that area, and you'll notice that that relaxes your body, brings down your blood pressure, brings down your anxiety. It takes down the hormones of stress called cortisol and adrenaline. And you'll be more in touch with how you're feeling, and you'll have given yourself some time to actually get over and to replenish and to refill your cup. So when you're ready, again, just sitting. This can also be done lying down, of course, but as we're all sitting, let's just drop back in again to the breath. So notice the breath in your body. Like what Marie was saying, I'll take you through noticing it through the nose. So notice the breath as you breathe in through your nose. And if it's comfortable, breathe back out through your nose. And if it's not, you can breathe out through your mouth. It's just the fact that you're focusing on an anchor, which is nostril breathing right now. Breathing in and breathing out. And get curious about the breath of the nostrils. See, can you notice it a little warm, cooler as it comes in? Goes all the way to the back of the throat and then back out again. Now let's take a deeper breath this time. And notice the breath as it enters the lungs. If you want to, you can actually place your hands on your chest to notice how the chest expands to the front, sides, the back actually. Nice deep breath. And then notice as you breathe out how the chest relaxes again. You can really feel the breath in the body. Breathing in and breathing out. So this is not a waste of time. You are replenishing yourself so that you can go forward. It's as if you're resetting your emotions, your body, your mind, taking this time. It is only here in this time that we can connect with what's going on. So now let's move into the body. So just notice your feet on the floor. This is an anchor of coming to this present moment, that sensation of your feet on the floor. And notice your hands if they're on your lap, the sense of touching. Maybe your elbows by your side. And then notice your body on the chair. And as you tune into the body, you have a chance now to notice any areas of tension, because during the day, we build up tension in our bodies. We start at the head. So noticing at the top of your head. Sometimes our brain's about to burst with all the information that we're on overload here. So take a moment to notice any physical signs of tension here. Top of the head, the back of the head, the base of the skull, the sides of the head. Imagine you're breathing now into your brain. And then just let go on a nice slow out breath. Now there's areas of the face that hold tension. Forehead, where we do most of our intellectual thinking. Most of our cognitive development is behind the forehead of the prefrontal. So right here, we can feel tension. And at the temples as well. So noticing the temples, forehead, and right into the eyes. Take a moment to notice the eyes as they rest in their eye socket. Breathing into the eyes now. And just letting go any tension on the out breath. And then notice the jaw region. This is a region that causes lots of problems for sleepers. We grind our teeth, our jaw is tight. So notice the jaw hinges on both sides of the face and the jawbone. See, can you relax the jawbone a little? Like an just letting it relax. And then moving down to the neck and shoulders, another region that holds tension during the day. And the throat as well. So noticing the neck, throat, and the shoulders. Do you ever feel like you have the weight of the world in your shoulders? See, can you soften a little through the neck and the shoulders? And then paying attention to the back body, between the shoulder blades, noticing this region, and down the spine, and to the lumbar spine. This is another region that carries tension. So bring your awareness and attention to the lumbar spine, the lower back. Take a moment to notice what's here. And it may be just fine as well, and that is great. Let's take a nice breath, deep breath into the lower back. And see, can you soften and release on the out breath. And then moving to the tummy region, just placing your hands in your tummy. You have 100 million emotional cells in the lining of our tummy. It's a very sensitive area. So just even by doing this, gives the tummy region a sense of calm and stillness. Noticing the breath here, noticing what's here in the tummy. You may notice nothing, and that's fine. Just being present. Breathing in and then just letting go again, softening and releasing. You can relax your hands now. And just noticing now the lower body, the hips and the tailbone and the sit bone. The whole region of the hips is another area that tightens during the day from stress and tension. So breathing into the hips region and then letting go a little and easing on the out. And then moving on to the thighs and the knees, the calf muscles and the shins, and all the way down to the heels, the ankles, soles of the feet and the tops of the feet and the toes. So now starting at the top of the body, and just let's work down through the whole body, starting with an in-breath, breathing in to the head, and then breathing out down the body, neck, shoulders, front body, trunk, thighs, knees, calves, and feet, out through your feet. Inviting stress to leave on the out breath, breathing in, a soothing balm all the way down through your body. And just take a moment to think about what's important in your life. What is it that you spend too much time worrying about? What can you let go of? How can you nourish yourself? And then just slowly open your eyes. You may want to stretch after this. The good news is it puts you kind of to sleep. But so that's why it's nice to do the body scan before bedtime. But let me just move to finish the PowerPoint. And see where I was. Yeah. And we'll just move on to, so just things that you can take away with you. So you've got the breath and then nature. The studies on nature now, it helps mental health, is amazing. And your prefrontal for thinking clearly, making good decisions, out in nature. 20 minutes in nature keeps you fresh for 2 hours afterwards when you come back to whatever you're doing. Try and continue. I'm sure lots of you have been out in nature over the lockdown, so continue to do that. Mindful eating we'll do next week. You can bring a little piece of an orange or, you know, an apple or a banana or a fruit or a sweet or a biscuit. We'll look at that next week. And then this is just a little something that would be lovely. And it's to reaching out to others. Thank people that have been kind and good to you. And they say in the workplace, 81% of people would work harder for a grateful boss. Grateful people are more resilient to stress and sleep better. And gratitude increase happiness by 25%. So that's, mindfulness is about thinking of others, caring for others, being kind and generous. And then I'm leaving you with just some recommendations. This is my email address if you want to contact me for any reason. This is free mindfulness on my website. Just open it up and on the left it says free meditations. One is the body scan. Here are some books for you on John Kabat-Zinn. Wherever you go, there you are. And another one, Finding Peace in a Frantic World, Mark Williams and Danny Penman. Some apps, Headspace and Insight Timer. And people are into podcasts now. So 10% Happier with Dan Harris, I would recommend that. Thank you so much. We've like 7 or 8 minutes left. Shannon, if anybody has more questions.
Yeah, definitely. We can use this time, I think, for discussion around how people thought that, you know, the practice went or anything that they have to comment on.
Sure, yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
I thought it was amazing. I was a bit worried about taking that hour out of work, but thankfully it did help, and I feel great now. I just feel like the rest of the day is going to be okay. And thank you very much. It was lovely to meet you and everybody else here online. So it's good to see you folks, and I hope to see you the rest of the whole session.
Oh, thank you, Bridie.
All right then. See you
just
later.
wanna
Thank you
highlight-
very much.
Thank you.
I want to highlight as well that there was an issue with one organisation that had the wrong link. So per Bridie's name has came up more than once, as you can see. So if Bridie's commenting, it might not be Bridie, and just to let you know.
Oh, yes, okay, fine.
Per Bridie.
That wouldn't be our organisation, would it?
Oh.
No, that's perfect.
I hope everybody goes out now into put some of these things in practice. I didn't give you
Yes.
too much. The mindful walking, taking care of yourself, start off your day with just sitting like we were doing there.
Mhm.
Evening time, your body scan, and then before you go to bed or any time during your day, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful, I have so much to be grateful for. That's the opposite to, you know, I'm overwhelmed, poor me. It's like I am grateful to be living, and I am grateful for my life. It's gotten me out of lots of times I feel like poor me. I just say, look, you're breathing, you're well, you can talk. So that's what I try and focus on.
And I'd like to apologise, if that's okay. When you were answering my question, I got a phone call from my GP. I was expecting a call back from a GP. So I just want to ask Shannon, will the PowerPoints and the recording be available for participants so that I can listen back to Dan's answer to that?
Absolutely. I will actually send the recording to everyone, just in case, because I know some people did come in late. So I'll send the recording to everyone, and Anne's presentation as well, Norma.
That's brilliant. Thanks very much. And I do apologise, Anne, but just
no
when your
problem.
GP calls, you got to take the call when it comes.
You have some lovely comments, and
Oh, thank you.
it's really just a thank you. There's no actual questions as such, which so it's obviously very understandable.
Very much, Anne. It was lovely.
Oh, thank you, Marie.
I
Thank you.
enjoyed it. I'm not very good at sending messages or anything on the computer. My husband put me on to this, but it was very nice.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you now.
So much. Thank you. That's great to get that feedback.
Oh, it was really enjoyable. Really good session.
Well, if there's no more questions, Anne, I just want to thank you as well. As you said, there is mindful eating next week, so it's just to kind of make sure everyone has a piece of fruit or chocolate or something tasty. It's a very good session, and if you haven't done mindful eating before, it can be a bit strange at the beginning, Anne, would you agree?
No doubt about it.
But I've definitely incorporated it into my life, and it's amazing. It really is. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments too. If someone or anyone did have issues with the links, can you give me a wee email and I can send you an emergency link for next week? I'll resend the confirmation email to everybody so that there shouldn't be any issues. But if you do, just give me a wee email and I'll put my email address into the chat box.
Okay.
Shannon, can I just ask, did you get my registration for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah.
You did? That's grand. Thank you. Because I'd sent it a few days ago and I hadn't had a confirmation email back, and that's why I sent again this morning.
Okay.
You know, so.
No, you're definitely on, Norma.
All right, great. Thank you.
Shannon, this is Tina here. I was late linking on. You sent me an emergency link, so